Hey y'all, it is Saturday, October 25th, 1:42 p.m. I'm gonna be taking a nap pretty soon. I am about to finish up day one of my fast. I am no stranger to fasting. I've done fasting before. I'm a Christian. I talk about my faith all the time on this channel, but I did this at a very spur of the moment type of thing. I've done my research. There is no need to worry. I am going to quit if I start to shake, like my body is shaking, if I'm having trouble standing up. Now, if I can't do a HIIT workout, I don't care because I don't do that anyway. You get what I'm saying? Also, ignore this, y'all. I'm stretching my hair. If you're a black girl, you understand. I'm just stretching my hair. But that's what I'm doing. I am still taking the same multivitamin I take every day. I'm taking ashwagandha every day just because that's what I normally take. I'm not diverting from that. I'm taking a whole bunch of electrolytes. I actually have they call it a bladder, which I'm like, why? That's weird. I get it though, but this in here is filled with water and electrolytes, so I've just been sipping it throughout the day. Why am I fasting? It's actually not for a spiritual reason. If I'm fasting spiritually, I do not come on and record. I know there's some Christians who do. I do not. I do not think it's a joke when the Bible is very clear about us not letting our left hand know what our right hand is doing. Essentially, you don't need to tell everybody and their mom and their dad and their grandpa that you're fasting unless it's necessary. And so I know a lot of times people will bring up, like, if you're going to like let's say you meet with someone once a week and y'all always go out to lunch, but you're fasting. I think that's appropriate to let them know. Or if you have to miss an event because you're fasting, things like that, yes. But I'm actually not fasting for spiritual reasons. That doesn't mean that I won't still be reading my Bible daily. I'm going to, of course. It just means that this time when I'm fasting, I'm not doing it only for spiritual reasons. I'm actually doing it for my weight loss journey. And so if you've noticed on my channel, I have been talking about food and nutrition and weight more. I'm not sure when I'll put this video out, but I've been extremely strategic about when I post videos. It started as a result of me doing my weekly vlogs, of course, and then I fell behind, so I had to post the weekly vlogs later. But now I'm so grateful that that has happened, because if I post videos in real time, one, that's not safe. That's not safe at all with me going out and about, not always having my boyfriend with me. But on top of that, it's not wise, because if someone is seeing something in real time, and like, for example, let's say I make it to the 5 days, because I would love to make it to 5 days on this fast. I've never gotten past day 2 of just a water fast. Of course, electrolytes. I'm not talking about salt and stuff, and I had a piece of gum. I'm talking about like no food. But if someone were to see that, they could be like, no, like, you need to stop. Excuse me, like if I was posting day updates like every day, which I might do, or they might be like, you shouldn't do that, you're going too extreme, this means that you have an eating disorder, or all of these different things. I'm doing this for fun, and then also I'm very fascinated by how God has created us. The fact that he tells us man shall not live by bread and bread alone. I know we repeat that a lot, and I know we like to say it a lot, but I really am going to be experiencing that firsthand, and it's deeper for me, because not only do I want to lose weight for aesthetics, I'll be real, I do want to look good. I'm uncomfortable at the weight that I'm at right now because I'm overweight, but also I want to lose weight because there's a lot of diseases that run in my family, and a lot of diseases that have been progressing instead of regressing because of additional weight that is added on to our bodies in my family, and I don't want to be like that. And so I know that some people may not understand why I'm doing this fast, especially if it's not like a Daniel fast or Esther fast, or because I'm repenting of sin. Of course I'm repenting of gluttony, but that was something that already happened months ago because I'm still on a calorie, I need to stop doing this because I'm still on a calorie deficit regardless. But point being, if I'm posting things in real time, I do think that I could end up being discouraged by some people's comments because they might not understand. If you've never struggled with your health, if you've never struggled with a chronic illness, if you've never struggled with fluctuating weight, if you've never struggled with having an unhealthy relationship with food, then you won't get it. But I have. And so I'm going to do everything I can. I've done some yo-yo dieting. I know people advise against that, but just trying different techniques. I've been implementing 10K steps a day starting yesterday purposefully. That's been interesting. Don't think I'm going to continue with that because it's too much. But yeah, I've been incorporating some bodyweight exercises throughout the week. I did the bodyweight exercise today, and then I walked. I think I hit 10,000 steps today. I walked 4.27 miles today, purposely, like I said. anyways, though, we'll see how this goes. I can definitely see like the extra like fat and stuff in my face. I also want I want everything to slim down. My stomach, the cellulite on my thighs, my inner thighs, just everything. And I know that for some people, y'all are like, Araya, like, you know, this was just supposed to be a weekly vlog channel of you being a Christian and kind of talking about that. You also dabbled in podcasts here and there, and I get that. And you might be seeing this like you're doing too much. We don't have similar goals. I don't think it's edifying for me to watch you. I am perfectly okay with that. I understand that I will not be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. But as I am evolving and as I am changing, and if you've noticed in my weekly vlogs, I've been more intentional about talking about my age, which I'm 20 now. Being in my 20s, I want to tackle debt. I want to pay off my student loans. I want to pay off my car. I want to pay off my car insurance ahead of time. I want to have a savings. I want to travel next summer. Like I don't want to have to wait until me and Aunt get married and he can provide. I want to do certain things now. Tomorrow's not promised. And so even with this fast, let's say I don't make it to day 5. Okay, I'll be a little disappointed because it's just mind over matter. I haven't actually been hungry today. It's just I've just wanted to eat because I'm bored, which shows you a lot about your relationship with food. But let's say I don't make it that far, fine. Let's say I do make it that far, awesome. And I'll be putting in protocols to help me break my fast. I think the reason why I've had such a pretty good day today for it to be day 1 is because I've done something that everyone recommends, but that I never used to implement, which is eating a nutritious meal before you start the fast. I did not intentionally eat a nutritious meal because I knew I was going to fast. No, I decided this haphazardly last night. But I'm already started eating better. I've already started working on my nutrition well before I've started going back to working out, which is just walking maybe a 1 or 1.5 mile run here and there and body weight exercises. Even before then, I told myself, do not touch a gym until you get your nutrition right. And so it's part of my lifestyle now, which I'm very grateful for. But I already ate the nutritious meal. Like I had a hearty soup. It had beans, ground turkey, chicken, some pasta, chicken broth, a lot of good things, jalapenos, bananas, banana peppers. Oh, sorry, y'all, that sounds nasty. But saying that to say, I actually ate a good meal, and I've been drinking electrolytes on my fast, and so I don't feel like I'm gonna die, if that makes sense. And so, anyways, finishing off day 1, we'll just kind of see how everything goes. All right. Hey y'all, it's me again. I promise I'll nap at some point. I don't want to be misleading, so I did also want to add that I have lost weight before, like significant amount, like nearing 20 pounds in a couple of months doing a calorie deficit when I was 17. So I'm saying that to say, like, I promise you guys, I'm no stranger to losing weight. I'm no stranger to trying out different things. I enjoy variety. I'm always kind of stuck between either just seeing things black and white, or needing like an encouraging element of like having variety, even down to my food. I like it, so I wanted to add that. Also, I did have like a headache, and it was a slight headache, some pain in like my upper right abdomen. Y'all, this is my sleep mask, by the way. And then my right hip and joint were hurting, and my feet were hurting too. So I was like, let me check how many steps I walked today. I actually walked 13,000 steps today on accident, when I only needed to. I was just shooting for 10,000. I'm just shooting for 10,000 every day of this week. And not every day of this week, every day of this fast. So that probably explains why my feet were hurting a little bit. They're fine now. They're just kind of like, like they're a tiny bit sore. Headache has been coming and going. Same thing with the joint pain. And it's not even a true headache. I'm someone, unfortunately, who has experienced a lot of migraines since I was a little girl. It is nothing to that degree. It's just a little like on this side. It's like, it's like the headache is faking. It's like, oh, it hurt. And then like I'll keep walking or keep doing something or distract myself, then it goes away. Hip and joint pain is not doing anything anymore because I'm not walking 13,000 steps, you know. So there's that. And then the pain in my upper torso went away as I was walking. So I did want to add that. Yeah. All right. I'll see y'all whenever I see y'all in the next clip. It is, I think, close to 10 p.m. I'm in the nighttime of day 2. I did have a Diet Dr. Pepper, a blackberry flavor. I know that can be considered cheating for some because it has artificial sweetener, but it doesn't have any calories, so still did it. And it helped me. I'm not hungry or anything. I do feel weird though. This is my first time having caffeine since I started the fast, so definitely feeling like that weird, like kind of euphoric feeling. I definitely was also feeling like my normal self late at night, getting a little bit more tired, so I'm more playful. I am gonna go to Target after I journal, do some like gratitude journaling, and read my Bible for a second time. My friend, we're all no stranger to fasting, my best friends, but Ruth recommended that I read my Bible in place of eating it. So normally I would eat throughout the day, snack throughout the day, so I'm gonna do that. So I know that I said I did not start this off as a spiritual fast. Like, I'm not trying to wrestle with God for anything like Jacob, where I'm not trying to ask God to do anything. This is really primarily for health benefits, but I'm a Christian, so spiritual things are going to be tied in. But I'm going to get some sea salt, put that in some water and drink it. I've had enough of the electrolytes today. And then I'm going to drink some bone broth, which I'm really excited for. And might be missing something, but yeah, I do feel a little weird. I've just been getting homework done and stuff. I'm gonna wind down and then go to sleep, go to church, and see my boyfriend tomorrow because I need some encouragement. I'm really looking forward to day 2 being done so I can get on to day 3, because like I said, I've never been able to get to day 3. Even just holding the phone. Like, normally it's tiring, but it's like even more tiring right now. All right. And I'm out of breath. Okay. So I'm doing some journaling. I want to incorporate journaling, of course, my everyday Bible reading, but these are journaling prompts outside of what my Bible will give me. Like, sometimes it'll have things like this down here that I can kind of journal and think about, but it asks me what self-discipline meant to me, and so that self-discipline to me is having control over your innate inclinations. So just things that you might have been predisposed to, or things that we are just going to be naturally inclined to as humans, and working your way up the ladder towards mastering those. And yes, you're still going to be tempted, but not falling into temptation with Christ. And so I'm finishing up the first half of day 2. I said, yeah, you're doing so great. The prompt also asked me what my why is, and I mentioned that to you all earlier, but being healthier, being better, feeling better. And I also have a lot of tips on here. I'll more than likely make a video on it, but this is just more so calorie deficit, not fasting per se. Just waiting for my Target order. It's 10:11, I think. My clock in my car is fast. I just don't remember how fast it is, but I'm here. You can definitely tell in I feel like you can tell in my eyes, like with my bags, that I'm going through something. It's not depression or anything or anxiety. I'm just fasting. So very interesting. I am so excited to sip this bone broth. And I did have a second diet soda. Was not the wisest for me to do at night. However, 2 of those combined, like 2 of those cans is just a cup of coffee. So I don't think it's going to be anything too extreme that I can't bounce back from and go to sleep with. My plan is to go to Aunt's church tomorrow possibly, or I might go to mine. I don't know. My alarm is set for 5 a.m. on Sunday, so I can go to the 8:30 service. But out the route that I'm going, I don't know if that's gonna happen, and I might just meet up with Aunt after. We'll just kind of see how that ends up going. But yeah, I do feel very like kind of euphoric almost, if that makes sense. Just kind of weird, like kind of like I'm floating on clouds a little bit. I definitely know my body's been entering into ketosis. I was like, is it entering into ketosis on day 1? Because I know the time frames or the days are just a set amount. It could be different depending on your body, but no, I do think my body was low-key starting to get into ketosis on day 1, really kicking into gear these past couple hours. I also did wash my hair, which I'm really proud of myself for doing, because that's already hard when I'm just doing a regular day-to-day, and then with the calorie deficit, it's also hard. But y'all, today I was like, ooh, like it was a lot. It was a lot. So looking forward to Wednesday when everything's done. Hi, yes. My code is 0539. Thank you, you too. Perfect. I'll just show y'all what I got since y'all asked. Okay. I got the Kettle and Fire, y'all. Everybody they always rave about this. I'll see it online, or all the reviews are always good, and I'm like, dude, it's just a bone broth, and this is expensive. This was on sale for $10.23 on sale. So you do understand why I don't normally go for this one. But for a cup, it's 45 calories and 10 grams of protein. It's pretty good. It has 14% sodium. I'm gonna add some sea salt to it just to make sure that I'm getting in what I need. Again, I want to make this very clear. I did have gum, I did have diet soda, and I'm now having bone broth. So I know that that can be considered as cheating for a lot of people. I still think I'm basically like Superwoman, going this long without proper nutrients and things like that. And before then, it's not like I was eating at calorie maintenance. I'm already in a calorie deficit on a normal day. And so I'm just extremely proud of myself. And so if I have to use different ailments like gum, which is less than 5 calories per stick and is sugar-free, and bone broth to get me through, I still think I'm doing a pretty good job. So yeah, and again, I do understand, like, I've always been someone who was turned off from Christians who would vlog every single aspect of them fasting, because that's very intimate time between you and God. But again, and I have to keep saying this just so everyone is clear, I do not fast my personal time between me and God. If it's something I'm asking God for, something I need him to cleanse me from or to take away from me, I'm going to be crying during that fast. I'm going to be emotional during that fast. And so yes, I'm feeling some of those things right now, but this is primarily for health purposes. I keep bringing that up. And yes, there are sins that I've committed. And yes, the biggest of which that I've been repenting for recently is gluttony, and then also some separate issues. But I'm not primarily fasting right now because I'm trying to shake heaven's throne or get something from God, or I'm in some type of danger. I'm doing this kind of as like a test and experiment a little bit. And then just also me being a Christian is gonna come into play, and then just me being in awe. And I keep repeating this, and I apologize, y'all, because I know I'm beating a dead horse, but the fact that God is so intentional that he designed our bodies to be able to go without food for a while is insane to me. It's insane to me. And in our culture where we're eating 3 meals a day in America with multiple snacks, and we're obese and we're overweight, I don't think it's crazy or absurd or insane, or I don't think that I'm struggling with body dysmorphia just because I'm abstaining from food, from food for a while. And I know I kind of mentioned this, I don't know if it was in this video or my vlog, but I don't think my body is changing as much. But I saw someone say that we don't think our bodies are changing as much during weight loss because we live in our bodies, and so it's kind of hard to see ourselves differently unless we have that progress in different things. And so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so that's why I keep saying all these things, just so that you guys can know I'm of sound mind. I know what I'm doing and I've done the proper research, and it's not as if I haven't fasted before. And so this has chicken bone broth, water, chicken bones, onions, carrot, fennel, leeks, apple cider vinegar. I'm nervous because I didn't realize it had apple cider vinegar in it. It's in the middle with the ingredients, but I'm still nervous because my body is already gonna be doing some acidic stuff with me not having any food for it to break down, just fat that was already stored up. And so for this to have apple cider vinegar, that's a little concerning to me because I don't want it to be overly acidic to the point where I get nauseous. I have been taking supplements. I will see if I'm going to continue to take the ashwagandha. I think I'm going to stick to the multivitamin because that's just pill form. Multivitamin in powder form is just electrolytes. But the ashwagandha, I don't want to upset my stomach or anything like that. It should be fine though. But this apple cider vinegar, I'm like, yikes, I don't know if I really want to continue with that. Anyways, I apologize, I know I'm talking long, but I do want this vlog to be as informative as possible and not only picture based. I love pictures, I love reading through actually visually looking at things, but I also think it's equally important to talk about all the other things that can go into fasting and all the research that you also need to do. I didn't mention this before, I don't think so, but I am 5'6", I am 20 years old, and so my metabolism is going to be different from other people. At my heaviest in my lifetime, I've been 180 pounds, which I did talk to y'all about in one of the previous clips. And then now the scale I used was inaccurate, and I talked about this in my weekly vlog, but it was reading me at like 163 pounds. And while I don't think I was 163, I do still think I was like 161. And so I've currently been reading at 155 pounds, I'm pretty sure. I understand that during this time I am going to lose a significant amount of weight in these 5 days. I also know that I can gain some of that back. And so on the 5th day, when I do start eating again, I am going to be extremely strategic about incorporating bone broth. I'm still going to have teas and different things like that, but I'm also going to make sure that I'm not overdoing it. I'm already in a calorie deficit, so I can't eat super big foods or anything like that anyways, but I'm going to be intentional about slowly introducing foods. I am not going to be sitting up there eating 12 bagels on day 5. Like, I know that I would play around a lot in the past and like break my fast with whatever food and get a stomach ache and be like, okay, whatever, I'll deal with it. And I would start my fast off like that last meal being something not nutrient dense at all, but I care about my body and I want my body to give me some good miles, just like my car, okay? So I'm gonna take care of it. It also has thyme, tamarind paste, mushroom extract from mushrooms, bay leaves, interesting, and then sea salt is at the end. And I don't know how much of that I'm gonna drink. I do not think that one bottle is gonna last me 4 days, but yeah. And then I got some sea salt. There was some by McCormick, but they said the twisting top, like all the reviews I read, they were like, the twisting top is terrible. If you have arthritis, don't use this. I don't have arthritis, but I don't want to be playing around with no sea salt thing. And then the Target brand one was more expensive than the McCormick one, but it had, they said it was pieces, and when I say they, I mean people online on the Target app who are reviewing. They said that some of the plastic was grinding off into their salt. Absolutely not. Just going with Morton. And then for tea, I went with this Yogi brand. It's the Honey Lavender Stress Relief. It's a soothing serenity blend. It's caffeine free. I know that I'm already drinking diet soda, but I don't want any other source of caffeine. I don't want to do black coffee. I know there's some people who do black coffee when they're fasting. It's not for me. I might try it once throughout the week, like maybe tomorrow, like as I'm entering into day 3 at 3 p.m. or around that time, or like day 4 or something. I might try it possibly, but I'm not too sure, honestly. I already get a lot of jitters from a whole bunch of caffeine, and then on top of that, I don't like the taste of black coffee on its own. I drink it, but it's not my favorite, and it tastes like cigarettes, and it upsets my stomach if I just have it by itself in the morning. And so I'm wondering if that was the issue, just because it's not good to have caffeine on an empty stomach. But then I realized that some people do it, so I'm like, okay, what was the real reason? And like, is it because of that reason, or is it because I was already having foods and things that my body was trying to digest that were not healthy for me and were not whole foods, and then I put caffeine on top of that? Anyways, it says yoga to bring peace of mind. That aside, bring water to boiling and steep for 7 minutes. If you want stronger tea, use 2 bags. I usually always use 2 bags. Okay, it has stevia at the very end, organic honey powder, organic lavender flavor, organic, everything's organic, lemon myrtle flavor, vanilla flavor, honey flavor again, robust leaf, chamomile flower, lemon balm leaf, spearmint leaf, lemongrass, peppermint leaf, lavender, sage. I wish they would have taken out the peppermint and spearmint. I'm not really into like minty teas or anything like that. They have to be like truly minty. If it's like a, oh, mint mixed with lemon, yeah, no, you've lost me. You have completely lost me. Okay, I do need to get back though. But this is how they look. They're cute. This will definitely be enough to last me throughout the fast. I have some green tea, like probiotic one. I don't really know if it's truly probiotic or prebiotic. I don't know. Just got it because it was green tea and it was unsweetened. So I was like, yeah, this. I'm sorry, I just watched somebody dig in their butt and in the front, like, okay. It's time for me to go. Okay. Good morning, y'all. It is currently 8:03 a.m. I went to sleep around 2 a.m. Could not go to sleep. It could have been the Diet Dr. Peppers that I had. It also could have just been my body going through changes. I am on a walk right now. I woke up around 7:35. I turned off my normal alarm for church because I was like, look, I'm either gonna go to a later service at my church and then meet up with my boyfriend, which is Anthony, or I'll just go to his church. Not sure if I'll have enough time to go to his church. I would love to, but we'll see, because I do want to get as many steps as I can in for this day today. So I am already at 0.22 miles walking just these last 5 minutes. I do feel more out of breath. I kind of said that last night, but I feel easily winded, having some heart palpitations. I put more electrolytes and salt in my bladder, so I'm hoping that will help, but we'll see. I can't tell if this is the fast doing this to me or if this is just a result of me only getting like 5 hours of sleep. We shall see. See how far I can get. This is not accurate. I tried to attempt to do like half a mile walking. I did like 0.6 miles walking. Then I tried to switch over to running. Did not get past 455 feet. So I started with the running again. That is absolutely beautiful. I am not going to consider this a fail. However, I did not meet my goal. I will not be walking 10,000 steps right now. I'm going to listen to my body. I think what happened is I had too much sea salt. So I've been wanting to make sure that I'm hydrated. I can keep my electrolytes and fluids in. I think I put way too much sea salt. And so I believe that's where the shortness of breath and palpitations may be coming from. I'm starting to feel a little bit better, but I do still want to see Aunt and spend time with them. So I'm not going to exert myself now. I just don't see the point in that. And honestly, I might not even go to see Aunt. It just depends. Or I might go later. Actually, yeah, I don't want to promote anything harmful to our bodies on my channel. I understand the need to deny our flesh, but like I said, this is more for health reasons than anything. So I need to be listening to my body. Okay. Gotta switch POV. All right, you guys. So I took some notes. I am back safely. All right. I want to share with y'all some notes that I took recently. I'm hoping that my notes sync. I'm not paying for iCloud anymore, so a lot of my stuff is not, it's not syncing whenever I take notes. Yeah, that didn't even sync. Okay, let me try this again and kind of see if it'll be on here. If not, I'll just try to do what I can remember from memory and then just kind of go from there. All right, let me try one other thing and see if that syncs. And then if not, I'm just gonna have to talk from remembrance. Okay. All right. So this morning, I did not go to sleep until 2 a.m. That was not my intention. I normally try and go to church as early as possible because I go to church in Rockwall, but I live in Plano, and so it's some counties over, okay? Try to go early, but I don't beat myself up if I can't. So this morning my alarm was set for 5 a.m. and I was like, you know what, that's probably not gonna happen if I'm just being 1,000% real with you. So as it was getting later and later, 8 turning into 9, 9 turning into 10, and by that point I was going to pick up my bone broth and everything else from Target. I was like, okay, this is getting a little all right. I'm not tired though. I was not tired. I tried to take a nap yesterday, but it just was not, I didn't need to take one. Then came back turned into 11, and I was just kind of on my phone. So I ordered groceries, and so my plan was to see Ant and visit him at his church. I've never been to his church before. I have to remind myself that, you know, we were long distance for a very long time, and we also do have separate lives. And so he's been to my church before when he would visit from Houston, but I've never been to his because he just recently found a church. And so I was like, that would be really cool if I was able to just, you know, go to his church and just worship and fellowship with him, and just his presence would be able to encourage me to keep going on the fast. I realized as it was going from 11 to 12 and then 12 to 1 and then 1 to 2, I was watching the movie Unlawful Entry with Ray Liotta and Kurt. Oh, I'm upset at myself. It's not Kurt Geiger. It's Kurt Russell. They were really young in the 90s. This is before Ray Liotta passed, of course. But anyways, watching that movie, I could not go to sleep. Cannot go to sleep. I was waking up throughout the middle of the night. I heard my roommate's alarm going off, and I was like, what? Like, I was sharp, like, up, and I had forgot to put in my sleep earbuds when I actually did go to sleep. And so, like, I was up, but then I was like, nope, like, just put your sleep mask on and go back to sleep and just kind of see what happens. And I felt pretty good. And then I woke up at 7:35 to be exact, and I just I felt disoriented this morning. I still do feel a little disoriented. I do still have a little bit of shortness of breath. Even when I was talking the videos, you could hear it very profoundly. I felt really weird and sluggish, like I was saying in the video. The last time I felt like this was last week, but I was up for 40 hours. So I think that's reasonable. So this is just I'm uncomfortable. And I know that you're supposed to be uncomfortable during a fast, and I'm not hungry, which is why I don't want to stop. But I am realizing that there are some warning signs that are creeping up. And so what I'm going to do before I just 100% call it quits, because this is so crazy, y'all, but this is the only time where I have not wanted a fast to end. And I think there's just so much on the line. What I talked about earlier, starting off the video, I want to just, it's kind of like a test or like an experiment. And I know that my body should not be at the expense of that. But I want to see, like, how long can my body go reasonably with proper nutrition, like electrolytes, salt, all that stuff. In this case, I realized I overdid it, but how long can my body go with the proper nutrients? Like, how long can it go? And so I'm in awe of that and how God created us. And so I think it's just a good measure for me to know, like, okay, once you start getting around this stage, it's starting to get a little dangerous. And so I know that I could simply just do Google research, but I love the new body that I'm getting. I love the weight that I'm losing. And so I am seeing things from that perspective of kind of like a test or something nice to do, but something fun or something for research purposes or whatever the case should be will never come at the expense of my life. So I just want to make that very clear. And then also just there's certain diseases that I don't want to continue. Or a chronic illness, endometriosis, which that fasting alone is not going to heal that. But I know that with me abstaining from a lot of inflammatory foods for a long time, and I could just do that with still eating in a calorie deficit, but it could really help me out. And then also, I want to do it. I feel determined. I feel great. Oh, I'm not hungry. So that's how I'm like, I want to keep going, but so I'm just going to explain a couple things. I essentially have like something called keto flu. So it's when like you're entering into ketosis and then like you start having some heart palpitations a little bit. You can have a little dizziness, irritability, etc., etc. Also, I need to rest. 5.5 hours is not enough. It's just not enough. And so as much as I want to go out and see Aunt and do all these things, and I bought groceries because after church I was going to give the groceries to him and ask him to meal prep for me, which he was more than happy to do. And so I'm like, dang, did I not realize that me getting the groceries was foreshadowing that I was actually going to need them today, because I was going to quit the fast. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to eat. I actually don't want to eat, y'all. I know this is so insane. But really, the embodiment of scripture in Matthew after Jesus when he's being tested by Satan, And he's like, you shall not live by bread and bread alone. I have felt that on this fast, and so I don't want to stop. But I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going to do, and then if the symptoms persist, I will be stopping. So I am going to go back to sleep, and I'm going to keep my feet elevated. It is pretty quiet right now. I'm going to practice some deep breaths. I am also going to stop with the diet soda. Caffeine and artificial sweeteners can spike stress hormones, and so me having them last night, I think that really did a number on me. And there's probably some of y'all who are watching, like when I first said I was drinking the diet soda, who are probably like, oh, why did you do that? From the research I had done, it was a toss of the coin. Some people said it helps them out tremendously when fasting to have a diet soda, helps to get them through. Other people are like, it makes them more hungry, etc., etc., similar to the gum. And so I was like, okay, I can be the only one to determine this for myself. And so me having 2 last night, I really do think it just was not the best thing. I overdid it on the salt for sure. I do need potassium and magnesium. I realize that the electrolytes that I'm taking only have 4 and 10% of potassium and magnesium. And I'm like, are you serious? And the first thing I keep thinking of is just, eat a banana, eat a banana. I'm fasting. I'm not eating food. So I'm like, I need potassium, magnesium. So I'm going to go and try to find some of that. I do have some bone broth in here, which is super good. I didn't add any extra salt to this. Ooh. Yeah. I will say this tastes better when I added extra salt. It tasted way better when I added extra salt, but I'm chilling off the salt right now. Okay. And then I'm pausing on the 10,000 steps like I told you all. And then I am drinking water with bone broth. I might have some tea later. It doesn't have any caffeine. It's just a lot of herbs. Never mind, it has stevia. It has stevia at the very end, so I'll chill off that. And it told me to pause, which is what I'm going to do right now, or refeed, like stop the fast, get some sweet potatoes, get some berries. Like, that's all the vegetables I bought. Vegetables and fruits that I bought for Wednesday when I plan on stopping my fast. But again, as much as I'm disappointed in the very likely outcome, I know that I will be okay ultimately. I've still learned a lot in this process. I just don't want to quit. I don't want to quit. So we'll just see what happens after I rest and get all this stuff in. But yeah, it's like you need to pause or refeed if you have persistent heart palpitations even after rest. I haven't tried resting, so I got to see that. Chest pain or shortness of breath. I haven't had chest pain, but I have had shortness of breath. I feel better now, though. Severe dizziness or confusion. I felt a little dizzy, like a slightest bit, but it was more I just felt disoriented when waking up. Like I was like waking up kind of like, wait, what? What's going on? Like that's more so how I felt. So yeah, I'm gonna rest, keep my feet elevated, see if I can find some potassium and magnesium, and then if this continues after like a good hour or so, then I will be stopping. And again, that hurts me so bad, but we'll see how things go. It is 10:38. I did not make it to day 5 of the fast. I am finishing at day 2. So I'm gonna start off with some egg whites and just continuing to sip some bone broth. Later, I'll have some cinnamon stewed apples and like some mixed berries, and then I'll also incorporate some of the cinnamon rolls I made a little while ago. I froze them, but these have like whole wheat flour, white flour. They have, I think, maybe some ginger. I'm not sure. They have cinnamon. They have bananas. They just have a lot of good whole foods that I should be able to incorporate by later tonight. Hopefully all goes well. I do have those sweet Lauren cookies too. I kind of just basically want to have today is like a refeed day. So I'll be eating a little healthier, helping with my cravings as well. But I would love to also have like a sweet Lauren's cookie. And then I do still have these no cheese roasted vegetable pizzas. that I might dig into. I'll also be having some sticky rice, a sweet potato at some point, but I just want to get this on my stomach first. I'll have some bananas as well. What else? Some coconut water for electrolytes. Like, I'm gonna make sure I take my time with this and plan things out accordingly. I was upset earlier, and I think I let my emotions and my pride get in the way, but I am extremely proud of myself. No, I did not make it to day 3 technically. It would have been later today, but I think my health is more important, and I did do this for health reasons. And so obedience really is better than sacrifice. And I know a lot of times I do like to rush through things, like to do things very quickly, but that's not always sustainable. And I know I'm always going back and forth, and I'm being double-minded, which is something that I need to spend some more time thinking about, because it's wrong. You don't need to be double-minded. I was reading yesterday in Matthew. Jesus tells us don't swear on anything. Just let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. And so that's what I'm going to practice doing. I've learned a lot, and I definitely will be looking at food differently, at least temporarily. It is fuel for our body, and we are not to abuse it or take it for granted. I could not imagine having to go without food again. I had to do it as a kid, and it really messed with me. And so for those who are living in poverty and their calorie deficit is not a choice, or their fasting is not a choice, and they're doing it because they want God to really give them manna, like actual bread from heaven, I will be praying for them. And it really just opens up your eyes to how much you need to deny your flesh. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And yeah, I don't think I'll be doing this again anytime soon. Bye. I believe it would be remiss of me if I didn't show y'all me eating. I just took the first 2 bites and sent it to my boyfriend. I updated my best friends as well because they were praying for me. It tastes so weird, y'all. But these are the egg whites. I can't have like onion powder or things like that. I could sprinkle a little sea salt though, because there's not much flavor. But I put like some thyme in here, some garlic powder. But there are certain seasonings that might be too much for me. But I'm gonna do a sprinkle because y'all know I overdid it earlier today. I also still have my bone broth here. But man, this was an awesome journey. I also did want to say that, you know, while I was upset and my pride was getting in the way, I was very emotional the last couple of clips. And so I'm so proud of myself regardless. And I'm not gonna cry or anymore or anything. I just was feeling a lot of emotions. Y'all, this is so crazy. And my stomach feels like hot, like it feels weird. Wow. That's insane. And it feels even weird to like swallow. But I'm just waiting on my second Target pickup order. I forgot to add bananas and like eggs and egg whites to the order because I was running out of these. Wow, I have vegan pizza that I want to eat later, like so bad. It's the Amy's brand. It was on sale. I was like, what? $4 a pizza instead of like 8 to 10? Oh my gosh, y'all, this feels so weird. It's kind of freaking me out. I wonder how people in comas feel once they can start like eating again. And then I also have some Sweet Lawrence cookies that I'll probably eat. I'll show y'all. Okay. These are the pizzas. I got 2 of them, $4 each. I'm really excited about this. It has good stuff, but it does have onions and like agave syrup, black pepper stuff. So probably gonna have to wait on this one until tomorrow. These are my cinnamon rolls and then Sweet Lawrence cookies. So I'm really excited for all these. Okay, now I'm actually gonna end the vlog. Seriously, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm not saying that I think that you should try this, but I learned so much insight and wisdom. I am pretty hard-headed, if you haven't been able to tell through this video, my weekly vlogs. And so sometimes I just have to learn things by going through it. And I've learned to be okay with that. All right. Until next time.